Hello, everyone. It's great to have you here. Have you ever imagined being the youngest person in the field, with everyone around you seeming older, more experienced, more certain of what to do, so you wait for someone else to step forward first? But life doesn't wait for you. That day, a little boy learned the lesson. Throughout his life, the same situation kept coming back, and he always stepped forward. This is the story of Jude Bellingham. In the town of Stourbridge, on the edge of Birmingham, a boy grew up chasing a ball down concrete streets long after the sun went down. Jude Bellingham was born on June 29, 2003, into a football family. His father, Mark, had played non-league football for years, and every weekend, young Jude stood on the sidelines, absorbing the game before he could even properly kick it. But Jude wasn't just watching, he was obsessive. Neighbors remember a kid who would stay outside in the freezing cold, practicing skills alone under a street lamp, refusing to come in until he'd nailed a move 100 times over. By the age of 4, he joined a local grassroots team. By 7, coaches were already whispering that this kid was different. He didn't just play football, he studied it, like a craft to be mastered. At 8 years old, he was scouted by Birmingham City, his boyhood club. And unlike so many young prospects who fade into obscurity, Jude kept rising. Every age group, every trial, every trainer's report said the same thing. Exceptional footballing brain, remarkable maturity, a boy playing years above his age. This wasn't luck. This was years of solitary practice, family sacrifice, and a hunger that refused to switch off. By 2019, Jude Bellingham was training with Birmingham City's first team at just 16 years old. Most boys his age were sitting exams. Jude was holding his own against grown professionals in championship football. On August 6, 2019, he made his first team debut, becoming Birmingham City's youngest ever player in a competitive match. A record that had stood for generations, broken by a teenager who barely needed a razor. Then came the moment that turned heads across England. Just months later, at 16 years and 38 days old, Bellingham scored his first senior goal, making him the youngest player in Birmingham City's history to find the net. Scouts from across Europe were suddenly circling a small Midlands club, all chasing the same name. Clubs came calling, Manchester United among them. But Jude and his family made a decision that stunned many. Instead of chasing the biggest paycheck or the most famous badge, they chose Borussia Dortmund, a club with a track record of trusting young players with real responsibility. It was a calculated risk. Leave home, leave England, leave everything familiar, for the promise of playing time in Germany's top flight. In the summer of 2020, 17-year-old Jude Bellingham arrived in Dortmund. The Bundesliga is not known for patience with teenagers, but Bellingham didn't need patience. He needed a stage, and he took it immediately. Just weeks after signing, he became Borussia Dortmund's youngest ever goalscorer. The German press, notoriously hard to impress, began writing headlines with his name in bold. What made him remarkable wasn't just his physical gifts, the strength, the stamina, the engine that let him cover every blade of grass. It was his footballing intelligence. Coaches described a player who read the game like someone twice his age, arriving in the box at exactly the right second, breaking up attacks before they even began. Season after season, his influence grew. He became a regular starter, then a leader, then, remarkably for someone so young, one of Dortmund's most important players, wearing the armband on multiple occasions. By the time he was 19, he was already being talked about as one of the most complete midfielders in world football. Alongside his rise came recognition for England. In November 2020, he made his senior international debut, becoming one of the youngest players to ever represent the Three Lions. He would go on to start regularly for England at the UEFA Euro 2020 tournament, played in 2021 as a teenager, thrust into a European Championship final on the biggest stage in the sport. By 2022, Bellingham was a key figure in England's World Cup squad in Qatar, delivering performances that showed the world he wasn't just a promising talent anymore. He was already one of the best midfielders on the planet. Dortmund had done exactly what it promised, It turned a promising English teenager into a complete battle-tested superstar. And now the biggest club in the world was waiting. In the summer of 2023, Real Madrid announced the signing of Jude Bellingham. The transfer fee, reportedly over €100 million, made him one of the most expensive English players in football history. Expectations were enormous. Madrid doesn't sign potential, it signs proven greatness. Many wondered if a 20-year-old could handle the pressure of the world's most demanding football institution. The answer came almost immediately. In his very first competitive match for the club, Bellingham scored. Then he kept scoring, not sporadically but relentlessly, in a way midfielders simply aren't supposed to. Week after week, he was arriving late into the box, finishing chances with the composure of a seasoned striker, while still doing the defensive work of a box-to-box midfielder. By the turn of the year, he had already established himself as one of the most decisive players in Europe. He scored dramatic match-winning goals in stoppage time. He scored in El Clasico. He scored in the Champions League. Real Madrid's famous demanding fan base, a crowd that has seen every superstar in the sport's history walk through their stadium, fell in love with him almost instantly. Real Madrid went on to win the Champions League and the La Liga title in his debut season, with Bellingham finishing as one of the most influential players in the entire competition. He was named La Liga's Player of the Year. Extraordinary recognition for a player in his very first season in Spain. The kid from Stourbridge was no longer just a promising English talent. He was now standing at the very top of world football, wearing the white shirt that had once belonged to legends like Zidane and Ronaldo. What makes Jude Bellingham's rise so remarkable isn't just the trophies or the transfer fees, it's the timeline. He achieved in his first 20 years what most players spend entire careers chasing, and he did it by making bold decisions at every turn, choosing development over comfort at Dortmund, choosing ambition over caution at Real Madrid. He carries himself with a maturity that seems inherited from those cold nights on Stourbridge Streets, practicing alone until the moves were perfect. That same relentless work ethic now plays out on the biggest stages in world football: Bernabéu nights, World Cups, Champions League finals. Still only in his early 20s, Bellingham stands at a crossroads that most players only reach in their 30s, a genuine chance to be remembered not just as a great English player, but as one of the greatest midfielders of his generation. The Birmingham kid dreamed under a street lamp. Now, under the floodlights of the Santiago Bernabéu, that dream has become one of football's defining stories, and by every indication, its most compelling chapters are still ahead.